The Opinion with Michael J. Today, we have Clayton. Wyatt Claypool? What's his friggin' name? Wyatt Claypool. Nice young gentleman. I think he's got a master's degree based on his J.J. McCulloch interview. So anyway, 14 hours ago, he did this carney caught lying. CBC admits he fooled them. It's just amazing. It's amazing. CBC good when aligned with ideology. No good. We're not aligned with conservative ideology. Let that sink in. CBC good when aligned with ideology, and it's painful, as he stated in this video, to watch Jim. He's programmed. He's programmed himself. He just doesn't realize it. And no good when it's against conservative ideology, and that's when the defund crowd, you can't flip an egg fast enough. Sunny side up or over lightly. They want to do it over hard. So, and then it breaks down to it's us against them. The ideology avatar. You got so many friggin' masks, you don't even know how many masks you got. But next is the ideology avatar. So let's look at the ideology avatar. There it is, Clayton Pool. Right on. Here he is with J.J. McCulloch. This was 3 months ago. I mean, these guys get friggin' huge views. 28,000 views. You come up with some truth, and you get friggin' diddly squat. Diddly squat? Yeah, diddly squat. So we're going to go back in time 3 months ago. Take it away, Clayton.
A shadow campaign. I mean, arguably
Clayton?
for
What?
years, right?
Claypool?
Like we're all leading up to this moment in which Mark Carney makes his triumphant entry into the Canadian political space. And yeah, for it to kind of go over like such a,
Give you a little insight. I've seen J.J. McCulloch with an interview with Tim Miller. I like Tim Miller from The Bulwark. So Tim wanted to bring him on, talk about Canadian politics. So that's how I just know about him.
tiny ripple in the pond. It seems profoundly underwhelming in a way that has to be, I think, troubling.
And that's the thing about the race, and I think this is what the donors are having to struggle with. It's not that they're wondering, who do I get behind, because these are such dynamic and different candidates. It's like, who is going to even move the needle in terms of getting the audience's attention? I watched...
Who gives two friggin' flying hoops? What is the candidate going to do for the people? Yikes, did I say that? Yeah. We're reverse engineering politics as we know it. We're going to be leaders. We're not going to be followers. We're going to be leaders. So we're reverse engineering all this stuff. So who gives two craps if they're a friggin' dynamic individual? What happens when the rubber hits the road? Does it help people or doesn't it help people? That's going to be our indicator.
The announcement launch video by Chrystia Freeland this morning, genuinely better than anything that Carney's put out so far. And it's not actually saying much, though. It's basically she delivered her message with some energy. I'm not even sure if the Jon Stewart interview really helped Mark Carney in any way. If people saw that, I did a short video on it. He's not terrible in it, but when you're on Jon Stewart's The Daily Show and you just kind of come off as fine, well, you got to be a bit better than fine if you're trying to be the prime minister who then builds momentum to beat Pierre Poilievre. I know people are saying, well, there's an Ecos poll out from Frank Graves showing the Liberals have closed the gap to just 11% after Trudeau stepped down. I'm like, no chance. If there is one pollster in Canada I do not take at face value, it is Frank Graves and Ecos.
Look at what happened to all your polls there, buddy. Moose on the Loose is still friggin' doing polls. He just can't get it out of his little friggin' brain.
I don't have any vendetta against him, but when his last...
Or his big brain, depending on which side you shed the light on.
Poll in December shows a 24% gap, actually 25% gap in favor of the Conservatives, and it's come down to 11% in January. That's not real. It's what I call an unmotivated polling change. If the poll from one to the next is very different, and there's nothing really in the news that would suggest that it would close up that much. Because while Trudeau stepped down, all the problems of the government are still there, and he technically hasn't even left yet. That does not cause a 14% swing.
Ooh, a bag of problems left behind. Can you imagine that? Bag of problems left behind.
But what would you even, if you were to having to define this race in a sentence, what is this leadership race all about?
What is it all about? I mean,
What's it all about, Alfie? You don't want me to sing it.
What's the fundamental question of this leadership race for the Liberal Party, not for Canadian?
Yeah, the fundamental question is who is going to do the best for the people? We're not talking about bootlicking, ass-licking the friggin' donors and money, corporation terrorists. We're talking about the people, the real people. The friggin' bottom layer. That's really where things should be falling.
In politics, but for the Liberals, what are we doing here?
I think, I guess this is two or three words, but like turning the page. Like, I do think that is kind of like fundamentally what they're looking for and what they should be looking for, which is the idea like, we're putting a bookend at the Trudeau era. We're in some sort of new era that feels forward facing, right? That's not just all about looking backwards and sort of playing sort of cleanup for the Trudeau legacy, but we're kind of like forging a new legacy for the the 2020s, and we're kind of into a new era of Canadian politics.
That's a good way to start. I got to agree with that. Abso-friggin-lutely. So let's get back to Mr. Clayton here. How you doing, Clayton?
All stolen, and
What?
We made a statement about it last night,
Stolen.
And then the Conservatives were like, God dang, the Independents actually said something like in conservative. They beat us to the punch. So they put out the same clip that I clipped to then feign offense at it, even though they're the ones who got rid of Dallas Brody because she rightfully called out the Graves hoax and Kamloops. But they're also going to take issue with the NDP. But then they messed it up because one of their morons, Peter Milabar, puts out a tweet basically saying, well, the problem with what the NDP MLA said is she didn't sound sincere. What?
Okay, enough of this stuff. That's Carney caught lying. CBC admits he fooled them. That's from Wyatt Claypool. And let's look at the notes here. Liberals are easily fooled. None of us conservatives fell for his bullshit. CBC knew Carney was a liar, but money was more important than their children, grandchildren, or country. Money's more important than an individual or person. You've got a problem, pal. No budget, no plan. Who says? Is that a construct everybody created? And because it is not being met, they're friggin' losing their cookies? Holy crap. Because an economist isn't doing what economists do. I got to tell you something. Most economists aren't worth the friggin' paper that their degree's written on, but that's my take. The Take with Michael J. Why is everyone going to keep saying Carney is smart? He is a damn crook. Guy, April 28th. Pierre Poilievre. Change. Just friggin' lied. Took that Horizon paper, said, well, this is what the government's actually forecasting. Meanwhile, it was just a hypothetical, worst-case scenarios that could possibly evolve or devolve, depending how you look at it. But Mr. Pierre Poilievre took it as a de facto standard and presented it to the people like that. What a friggin' con job. He's just as bad as Donald J. Trump. Friggin' crooks. Got to get rid of the crooks, folks. No more crooks. They got to go. The real crooks. You're just not... You're so caught up in the friggin' avatars. First of all, it's the us against them ideology avatar. Liberals against conservatives. You get so caught up in playing one box versus the other box that you identify with one, and you can't, separate from that attachment. And it's really bad with the conservatives, more so with the conservatives. They just cannot disattach themselves from the conservative box. Especially when you start looking at the policy and how it's affected people's lives over the course of 50 years, then you got to really question things. And then, after we do the ideology avatar, it's the person avatar, the I am. And the I am is deeper than the Wyatt Claypool. It's the I am. But let's go a friggin' step deeper. How deep do you want to go? You want to go right into the deep end? Iceberg land? Then you got to drop the I and just M. Nobody's told it to you. Nobody's told it to you like that other than Jesus and Buddha. So take it for what it's worth. So here's the deal. Get over this friggin' budget handicap. It's not serving you. Let's see just what happens. See what rubber hits the road. So there you go. That's where we're at. That's where we're going to. Thanks for watching, folks. Love and peace to everyone. Take care. And ciao for now. Whoops, wrong button. Woo, wrong button. The wrong button, monsieur. Encore chichi, comme ça me donne. Merci beaucoup. Grazie. Grazie.